Hi, you're watching Nightline with me, Muhammed, Ahmad, Hamdan, and here are the top stories. Ihsan Madani donations coordinated by ICU to repair damaged infrastructure. And government brushes off data leak claims involving 17 million MyCard. Good morning. The Ihsan Madani donations for flood victims will be coordinated by the Implementation Coordination Unit, ICU, of the Prime Minister's Department to ensure they are not misused. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said that the funds will be utilised to repair the infrastructure damage due to the floods and for other needs of the victims. On Wednesday, the Prime Minister accepted 35.8 million ringgit from 23 private companies and individuals to assist flood victims nationwide under the Ihsan Madani donations at the Sri Perdana complex. This came following the call made by Anwar on Monday for the private sector to lend a helping hand to the people affected by the northeast monsoon floods, either through financial contributions or by sending aid machinery to the flood-hit areas.
Dana ini kita selaraskan di bawah ICU, menyelaras di Jabatan Perdana Menteri, dan kita gunakan untuk baiki, ya, selain peruntukan kerajaan, sekolah, pelajar-pelajar, dan hospital yang rosak, untuk kemudahan. Kerana walaupun tak rosak, bila kemudahan itu meningkat, dia akan beri kesan. Seperti mana sekolah, satu sekolah digunakan sebagai PPS, dan tentunya tandas, lantai, kerosak.
Anwar also called for more positive stories to be shared about the unity of Malaysia's multiracial communities in aiding those in need, such as flood victims. He said such stories reflect the beauty of Malaysia and should be continually highlighted, as it will ensure not only the stability but also the future of this great country.
Saya beri contoh hari itu bila berlaku di Kelantan, kawan saya maklum dari Bukit Mentajam seorang. Dia bukan persatuan, bukan apa. Dia peniaga Cina yang agak sederhana. Dia kumpul sekitar 10 lori besar yang bawa makanan dan hantar. Jadi ini cerita yang positif di Malaysia ini.
The Prime Minister added that the total number of northeast monsoon flood victims recorded since November 5th in the 9 affected states was 235,706 people from 68,868 families. It was the highest since the major floods that hit the country during the 2014-2015 northeast monsoon season. Meanwhile, Anwar rapped the opposition for turning the Sijil Pelajaran Malaysia SPM examination, which was decided to proceed as scheduled amid the floods, into a controversy. The Prime Minister said that such a controversy should not have arisen, as the welfare of all students involved in the examination had been well taken care of, and separate accommodation had been provided to facilitate their revision.
Of course, they've been attacking this. They don't have books and pen. I have to remind them, this is oral exam. You don't need books and pens. When the opposition made a big issue, their students have lost their pens and they are asked to go to the exams. This is oral exam. Oral means oral, lah.
On Monday, the Education Ministry said flood-affected SPM candidates are allowed to stay in hostels until the situation improves, making it easier for them to sit for the examination. Anwar also thanked the various agencies for their dedicated efforts in ensuring that students can sit for the SPM examination despite the ongoing flood crisis. The Rural and Regional Development Ministry, KKDW, will either provide new homes or repair rural houses damaged by the recent floods. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ahmad Hamidi stated that this initiative is one of the ministry's efforts to assist flood victims nationwide.
Saya ingin mencadangkan beberapa usaha untuk kita laksanakan di peringkat kementerian, seperti utamanya memperhalusi dan menilai rumah-rumah di kawasan perdesaan yang rosak akibat banjir. Kita sediakan rumah-rumah baru atau membaik pulih kediaman yang terjejas.
Zahid, who is also the Rural and Regional Development Minister, said this during KKDW's monthly assembly in Putrajaya on Wednesday. The National Disaster Management Committee chairman also said a flood relief emergency fund would be launched to provide assistance either in financial aid or daily necessities. He added that preparations are underway to face a second wave of floods expected between December 8th and 14th, with agencies at all levels ensuring readiness to prevent any untoward incidents. In the meantime, the government will provide assistance to smallholders affected by the floods. According to Plantation and Commodities Minister Datuk Seri Johari Abdul Ghani, the assistance will be in the form of compensation for loss of income during the monsoon season. Johari said a special flood allocation will be announced by the Finance Ministry.
Tetapi pada lazimnya, mana-mana bencana yang berlaku dalam negara kita yang menyebabkan pendapatan pekerja terjejas, selalunya dia akan ada bantuan yang akan diberi. Pertama, bantuan banjir, yang kedua, pendapatan yang hilang. Begitu juga waktu musim tengkujuh, kalau orang tak boleh, nelayan tak boleh pergi ke laut, dia juga ada insentif.
He said this in response to a supplementary question in the Dewan Negara on special flood assistance to smallholders. In another development, almost 55,000 settlers have received 200 ringgit a month under the Budi Madani subsidy aid so far. To increase rubber yield, Johari said his ministry also proposed to implement the consolidation program for smallholders to manage 420,000 hectares of abandoned rubber estates nationwide. The program can also increase natural rubber production in a bid to reduce import dependence. Now, the number of flood victims nationwide continues to decline. As of 10 p.m. on Wednesday, 50,617 people remained at 186 temporary relief centers, PPS, across the 7 flood-affected states. Kelantan recorded the most number of flood victims at 35,075 in 88 PPS opened in 4 districts. Next is Terengganu with 8,298 people housed at 41 PPS in 7 districts, followed by Kedah and Johor with 5,791 and 1,033 evacuees respectively. 3 other flood-stricken states are Perak, Melaka and Pahang. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim on Wednesday received a courtesy call from Australian Foreign Minister Penny Wong, who is currently in Malaysia to attend the 6th Malaysia-Australia Annual Foreign Ministers meeting. The 2 leaders discussed, among others, efforts to strengthen bilateral cooperation in economy, defence, cybersecurity and higher education ahead of the 70th anniversary of the Malaysia-Australia diplomatic relations in 2025. At the meeting in Parliament, which lasted about 30 minutes, Canberra also expressed support for Putrajaya as it prepares to take on the significant responsibility of chairing ASEAN next year. The Prime Minister also took the opportunity to extend another invitation to Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese to attend the ASEAN Summit in 2025. The theme for Malaysia's upcoming ASEAN chairmanship will be Inclusivity and Sustainability, reflecting Malaysia's intention to guide ASEAN towards equitable, sustainable and inclusive growth. Australia also expressed sympathy to Malaysia for the floods currently affecting the country. Malaysia and Australia have established a strong diplomatic relationship since 1957. In 2023, Australia was Malaysia's largest trading partner, the primary export destination, and the largest source of imports among countries in the Oceania region, with a total trade value of 84.64 billion ringgit. Home Minister Datuk Seri Saifuddin Ismail has brushed off claims of a data breach involving 17 million MyCard as alleged on social media recently. He emphasised that the government guarantees the security of data, particularly MyCard information belonging to all Malaysians, remain safeguarded and secure.
Saya segera semak pertama dengan JPN bahagian berkenaan Yang kedua dengan NAKSA lah, Autoriti tentang Keselamatan bahagian IT agensi kerajaan ni, NAKSA ya. Kedua-duanya mengesahkan tiada insiden sebegitulah. Jadi kita minta rakyat supaya berhati-hati kalau terima maklumat yang macam tu. Jadi mudah sekali untuk sebarkan dengan papar berapa kepin, kemudian habaq kata 17 juta. So lebih baik hentikanlah.
Saifuddin told this to reporters after visiting the SK Bukit Tinggi Flood Relief Centre near Alostar, Kedah on Wednesday. He was commenting on reports claiming that MyCard data of 17 million Malaysians had allegedly been leaked and sold on the dark web. The police have also confirmed that they have not received any reports regarding the alleged massive data breach. The issue surfaced on social media on Tuesday, with the alleged perpetrators sharing images of MyCard on the dark web as evidence to support their claims. Moving on, a 19-year manhunt for Singaporean tycoon Ng Teck Lee, implicated in a 72 million Singapore dollar embezzlement case, ended with his arrest along with his wife Thaw Chui Hua in Johor Bahru. The couple, who had been on the run since 2005, were apprehended by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission (MACC) and handed over to Singapore's Corrupt Practices Investigation Bureau (CPIB) on Tuesday to face charges in their home country. 58-year-old Ng was the then Chief Executive Officer of the now-defunct recycling company Siti Raya Industries, a firm in the business of recycling and recovering precious metals from electronic scrap such as used computer chips. However, instead of processing the scrap, Ng allegedly diverted it for sale to syndicates in Taiwan and Hong Kong. Thaw, aged 55, was allegedly an accomplice. The duo fled the country when the CPIB began investigating the case in 2005. Investigations revealed that Ng had misappropriated 62 shipments, or around 89 tons of electronic waste between 2003 and 2004, and purportedly gained more than 51 million US dollars or 72 million Singapore dollars at the time from his scheme. Meanwhile, CPIB Director of Investigations Vincent Lim expressed gratitude to the MACC for its cooperation, highlighting that the arrest underscores the long-standing ties between the two agencies. MACC Chief Commissioner Tan Sri Azambaki also stated that the operation reflects the agency's commitment to international collaboration in combating corruption and transnational crimes. After a month-long investigation, Fashion Valet founders Datin Vivi Yusof and her husband Datuk Fazaruddin Shah Anwar are set to face charges for criminal breach of trust (CBT). According to the MACC, the couple would be charged under Section 409 of the Penal Code. MACC Chief Commissioner Tan Sri Azambaki confirmed on Wednesday that the couple would be charged at the Special Corruption Court in Kuala Lumpur on Thursday. The charge is related to the 43.9 million ringgit in investment funds lost by Khazanah Nasional Berhad and Permodalan Nasional Berhad (PNB) in the e-commerce platform. It was previously reported that the MACC had arrested the couple on Tuesday afternoon, and they have since been granted bail to appear in court. Last Thursday, Azam said the MACC had completed its probe into the investments in Fashion Valet and that the investigation paper had been submitted to its Legal and Prosecution Division Director for review. In November, the anti-graft agency stated that it had identified several suspicious account transactions during its investigation into the investment losses. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Fadillah Yusof has emphasised the need for wider adoption of artificial intelligence (AI) technology in city management. He said AI enables computers and machines to perform tasks that can assist local authorities in managing various aspects of urban life. Fadillah, who is also the Energy Transition and Water Transformation Minister, stated that cities generate diverse types of data, including traffic, environmental quality and weather information. By implementing a structured and integrated approach to data collection, various types of analyses can be generated to assist local authorities in making accurate decisions, ultimately enhancing community well-being.
Malah data-data ini juga dapat digunakan untuk membuat ramalan keadaan bandar sebagai amaran awal terhadap kemungkinan berlakunya kesan negatif terhadap sesuatu pembangunan.
He said this at the launch of the Putrajaya Urban Observatory PUO in conjunction with the Digital Putrajaya Exhibition and Conference DPAC 2024 on Wednesday. He also stressed the importance of collaboration between the government and the private sector in managing and developing smart cities. This partnership would not only promote environmental protection in urban areas but also boost the generation of renewable energy, benefiting the population in multiple ways. A total of 13% of the 477,571 borrowers registered with the Credit Counselling and Debt Management Agency AKPK have fully settled debts exceeding 3.2 billion ringgit. Second Finance Minister Dr. Sri Amir Hamzah Azizan said that these borrowers received assistance through the Credit Management Program, which helps restructure loans and facilitates continued repayments.
AKPK telah memberi manfaat kepada hampir 1.4 juta individu melalui khidmat nasihat kaunseling kewangan KNKK secara percuma. Dari jumlah tersebut, 477,571 peminjam telah dibantu melalui PPPK.
Hamzah said this during a question and answer session in Dewan Negara on Wednesday. To further reduce the bankruptcy rate, AKPK and financial institutions have implemented measures to issue notices to borrowers before proceeding with bankruptcy actions. This initiative allows borrowers to seek assistance from either financial institutions or AKPK, ultimately contributing to a reduction in the bankruptcy rate. South Korean shares declined on Wednesday after the nation's president declared martial law and then rescinded it hours later in the biggest political crisis in decades in Asia's fourth largest economy. The won partially recovered after a sharp drop earlier, while the benchmark bond yield rose. The Kospi closed down 36.1 points or 1.44% at 2,464. Meanwhile, foreigners net sold shares worth $290 million on the main board. Among index heavyweights, chipmaker Samsung Electronics fell 0.93%, while peer SK Hynix gained 1.88%. Battery maker LG Energy Solution also slipped 2.02%. The Finance Ministry has said it was ready to deploy unlimited liquidity into financial markets in the wake of the political crisis that sent the won diving to multi-year lows. SRG bounced back with a flawless performance MLBB M6 World Championships after this breather.
6 pasangan selebriti. Hanya satu family yang bakal menjadi juara dalam program reality Family Duo musim keempat. Hangatkan sensasinya bersama Family Duo musim keempat. Juarakan family anda dengan pelan U Family daripada U Mobile. Kongsi 1000 GB data 5G dan perantauan global percuma di 63 destinasi. 4 talian untuk family anda. Hanya RM128 sebulan. Kongsikan segalanya bersama family anda.
This is the best platform for me to spread my wings.
Dari mimpi ke realiti.
That you can actually sing. Most of them can't.
Hari ini, mereka sudah berada di kelas tersendiri. Menjadikan suara mereka satu dalam sejuta.
You've got talent and you don't need us to tell you that.
Siapakah yang akan muncul sebagai bintang yang seterusnya? Kalpis Soda One in a Million kini kembali di TV3.
A woman's spirit is boundless. So grab your coffee cups and wear your sassiest smile. Because this season, we're louder than ever. We talk career, health, finance, relationships, and everything in between. Women's Talk is here to empower and inspire you. Join us on Women's Talk every Saturday, 5 p.m. only on TV3 and stream now on Saifuddin.
Cepat! Gol! Lah, apa nangis? Bola je pun.
Sedih lah drama ni.
Wah, tengok bola tu drama.
Korang tahu tak ada banyak drama dengan filem Korea dekat tonton? Korang boleh layan opak korang sampai pagi. Muat turun aplikasi tonton sekarang. Semua favourite anda ada di sini.
Cakap dengan siapa?
We're back with sports. The Mobile Legends Bang Bang M6 World Championships. Malaysian favourites, the Selangor Red Giants SRG, stormed back into the tournament with a resounding 2-0 victory over China's Kit Bass Gaming in the fourth round of the Swiss stage event on Wednesday. After suffering a second defeat against Myanmar's Falcon Esports, SRG made sure that they bounced back in style, closing out the first match with a comfortable 10-4 victory after a 15-minute battle. The tournament favourites roared the crowd as they delivered a flawless performance, defeating the Chinese 9-0 to seal the dramatic 2-0 victory. With the result, SRG need another win to reach the fifth round, moving closer to clinching the title. Earlier, a rejuvenated team Vamos vanquished Turkish champions S2G 2-0 in the best-of-3 format. The Malaysians faced a tight battle in the first match, but they stuck to their objectives and eventually securing an 18-9 win. Vamos carried their momentum in the second match, wiping out S2G 14-5 after a 15-minute battle. With the win, Vamos advanced to the final round of the Swiss stage, where they need one more win to qualify for the knockout stage. Football now, the Super League. 4 matches were played on Wednesday. Perak FC were held 1-1 by Kedah Darul Aman FC, while Terengganu FC defeated Kelantan Darul Naim FC 2-1. Penang FC, on the other hand, had secured a comfortable 2-0 victory over PDRM FC. Now Sabah FC continue their winning streak from their last 5 matches, defeating Kuching City FC 2-1. At the Sarawak Stadium, Indonesian winger Sadil Ramdhani broke the deadlock for the Rhinos in the 66th minute. The Cats drew level just 9 minutes before time through Zahrul Nizwan. However, the Cats' hopes of sharing the points did not last long as Sabah's defender Gabriel Perez scored the winning goal 4 minutes later. With the result, Sabah FC climbed to second place with 29 points, equal with Selangor FC. South Korean president faces impeachment after martial law debacle. The details when Nightline returns.
Alah, dah habis tak sempat nak tengok.
Drama TV3 Mak? Tengok je lah, tonton.
Telefon nak buat?
Telefon Mak. Mula-mula Mak buka tonton, lepas tu tekan sign up here untuk buat akaun baru. Isi nombor telefon, email dengan password. Masukkan nombor TAC dan siap.
Ya, senang je. Jadi tengok dasar?
Boleh lah. Tadi lah drama Mak tu.
Satu dalam sejuta.
Apa yang dia nyanyi? Sepasang sayap. Hampir berbelas-belas tahun, tiba-tiba dia dengar cakap, One in a Million kembali. Ini satu platform untuk suara Dayang. Sebagai seorang penyanyi, it's a good experience for me lah untuk mereka-mereka yang ingin menceburkan diri dalam bidang muzik. All the best, prepare betul-betul, bagi semua, all out.
OIAM akan datang Disember ini. MHI minggu ini.
Ada masalah sesama jiran, jangan risau. Mediator Community sedia membantu.
Lah, janganlah terkejutkan saya. Tapi kan, kenapa orang muda macam Ahmad ni semakin hari semakin kuat melata? Apa puncanya?
Rabu cakna keselamatan kanak-kanak sebagai pembonceng motosikal.
Santan kelapa naik harga. Adakah lauk berasakan santan ni naik juga harganya?
Soal wang pembagian harta faraid kepada waris yang berhak.
MHI Isnin hingga Jumaat jam 10 pagi.
Di TV3 dan stream ditonton.
Lebih segar, lebih dinamik. Laporan komprehensif menghidupkan pagi anda.
Buletin pagi dengan waktu yang baharu. 9.30 pagi setiap hari bermula 1 November.
Welcome back. South Korea's opposition lawmakers have begun impeachment proceedings against President Yoon Suk-yeol on Wednesday over his failed attempt to impose martial law.
The country woke up to an uncertain reality after a night of unprecedented scenes which saw Yoon unexpectedly impose martial law. 190 lawmakers gathered to vote it down, and a sudden reversal of the decision around 6 hours later. After introducing the impeachment motion, South Korea's main opposition Democratic Party condemned Yoon's initial martial law declaration as insurrectionary behavior. The party also said it wants to charge Yoon with crimes of rebellion. Parliament will have to vote on whether to impeach Yoon by Saturday. Meanwhile, Minister Kim Yong-hyun tendered his resignation and said he would take full responsibility for the martial law. Yoon's senior aides, including Chief of Staff Chung Jin-suk and National Security Advisor Shin Wong-sik, also tendered their resignation. Meanwhile, Seoul residents were left in a state of anxiety, feeling deeply disturbed and afraid of the situation.
정말 영화 속에나 있었던 일을 현실로 겪으니까 이게 진짜 생각했던 것보다 더 엄청나게 좀 심각하구나라는 걸 느꼈고, 안 그래도 요즘 경기도 어려운 실정에 지금 대통령이라는 사람이 지금 국민들에게 이렇게 불안감을 조성하고 있다는 상황이 너무 개탄스럽고, 앞으로 이 나라의 미래가 어떻게 될지 정말 걱정이 많이 되고.
무슨 일이지? 이게 지금 현재 이 시대 때 일어날 수 있는 일인가? 라는 그런 조금 생각이 많이 들었고, 해지될 때까지 잠을 못 잤던 것 같아요. 많이 두려움에 떨어서.
이유를 통해서 계엄령이 선포되었다 정도로만 알고 있긴 한데, 그 이유가 무색하게 너무 아무런 거 없이 끝났다? 그냥 그래서 좀 이상했.
A gunman shot at a politician outside the Golden Temple in northern India on Wednesday, just before police caught and arrested him in a scare at the popular site. Fortunately, the politician Sukhbir Singh Badal, former Deputy Chief Minister of Punjab State, was unharmed. The shooter, identified by police as Narayan Singh, was seen walking to the entrance of the temple in Amritsar city and stealthily removing a gun from his pocket to fire at Badal. He was stopped and pushed away by a policeman in plainclothes who was standing next to Badal, but not before he fired a stray shot. The reason for the attack was not immediately clear, and authorities have initiated an investigation. Zionist tanks pushed into northern parts of the Khan Yunis area in the south of the Gaza Strip on Wednesday, killing dozens of Palestinians. Medics said 11 people were killed in 3 airstrikes on areas in central Gaza, including 6 children and 1 medic. 5 of the dead had been queuing outside a bakery. A further 9 Palestinians were killed by tank fire in Rafah, near the border with Egypt, while at least 5 people, including 4 children, have been killed in a Zionist drone attack on a food distribution point and a house in the Nuseirat refugee camp. At least 3 medics have been wounded in a drone attack on the Kamal Adwan hospital in Beit Lahia, the 5th by Israel's military on the medical facility in recent weeks.
regional communication.
Meanwhile, a spokesperson from Qatar's Ministry of Foreign Affairs said that the country's mediation efforts for a ceasefire between Hamas and Israel remain suspended. During a media briefing on Tuesday, he said that the suspension applies solely to the mediation process itself, while regional communications and collaborations continue unupdated. However, despite the suspension of mediation, the spokesperson also highlighted Qatar's ongoing commitment to de-escalation and humanitarian support for Gaza, adding that officials are engaged in daily communications with counterparts, with the focus remaining on delivering aid to those in need in Gaza and supporting the ongoing de-escalation in Lebanon.
That concludes Nightline. This time around, we leave you with visuals of an Austrian teenager, Thomas Archerer, landing the first ever double backflip with a perfect score in the surf freestyle competition at the Wing Foil World Cup in Brazil. With that, I'm Muhammed. Hamdan. Thanks for watching and stay safe.